Hello, my name is Mark Lane. I'm an 8th grader from Sycamore Junior High School, which only has 7th and 8th grader level students. It's located near Cincinnati, Ohio. I was challenged by my computer science technology solutions teacher, Mrs. Jarvis, to take over a work-in-progress project that was previously started by a team from her first semester class that ran out of time. I agreed with enthusiasm to take on this project and have not stopped working on it since. The problem that birthed the magic stamp is that children with special needs and other students included had difficulty using their writing tools, but more specifically writing their names on paper. A teacher who specializes in special needs reached out to see if we could develop a solution. I think that with what we've created, however, this solution could be used for years to come for anyone who needs it. And I agreed to the idea, thinking about having difficulty writing on paper could happen to anyone or anything, any school, was my main drive for putting this project into full motion to help those in need. And so with that, I present to you the magic stamp, an ongoing process, an easier way to identify those who can't write. I was asked by Mrs. Jarvis if I had time to be able to finish work of another student, a stamp, for the children with special needs in my school that couldn't write their name down on paper. So she challenged me to find a simple and easy way to make these stamps from the students before me that had created them. I had began brainstorming with what I had seen and knew. The first idea was Velcro. The original thought was to put Velcro on the top and bottom of the stamps and just put them together like that, though I came to the conclusion that because some special needs students have sensory issues and was difficult to remove, that idea was scrapped. After the quick rejection of that Velcro idea, I went for a different approach. Instead of using the old models, I would make my own. And taking inspiration from the Magic Bullet Blender, I created the idea for how the stamp would be smooth and interchangeable. I then used the site Tinkercad to make a model of the inside of the stamp. Prototype after the creation of the design, I thought of the stamp, then put it into a slicer site. Using an SD card adapter, I then downloaded the model via its new G-code and waited for it to be printed by Mrs. Jarvis's 3D printer. It took 4 hours in total for its completion, and after removing supports, and it fit smoothly, I talked to Mr. Jarvis and it was ready for trial and error. There were many problems despite my efforts. The entrance points for the divots, latches, were a few millimeters too high, making the lock not connect properly, unfortunately. I had absolutely no idea how I'd be able to mirror the name on the stamp. I didn't think there was a website for it yet. These issues were needed to be solved, so I needed to make any progress I could to fix them. So I went to Tinkercad and began revising. I began on my free time reworking the model, fixing the many issues with the original prototype, divots, sizes, slipping issues, reverse names, and also been solved with a simple 180 flip. And as I'm typing now, it's going to be reworked and taken to the 3D printer, and it is now taking 22 hours to finish. I'll only be able to get to test it after spring break, and so hopefully, if it succeeds, I'll be able to present this to the kids who are in need of it, and hopefully get their good opinions. That's what that matters to me the most right now. The results of the model, unfortunately, after spring break, were not that great. The main problems occurred with the original model and the locking mechanism in the stamp plate. The problems had included the cap was too snug with the base of the stamp, made it really hard to turn, and the locking bumps were too tall and wide to fit the railing section. And because the railing I had made was a full 360 on the base, it was almost impossible for me to precisely remove it without it snapping to the other side. But despite the flaws it had, it at least worked when being stamped. So I cut my losses and asked many students to try the stamp. The reviews were positive despite the project being in progress and less personalized, however. What the future holds. This project is ongoing. The short-term goal is to make the number of the students who need these stamps acquire one before the beginning of the 9th grade, and that the stamp lasts for as long as they need it to. Throughout the creation of the now named Magic Stamp, I used the website known as Tinkercad and the 3D printers that were provided by Battelle to create the models you now see on this slideshow. That's it. Thank you.